Good day, constellation of stars, especially to our virtual learners who are with us in our FB Live this afternoon. How are you today, learners? I hope that you are all feeling great right now, despite of our pandemic situation. By the way, this is Teacher R from Lorenzo Tan National High School.
And this is Teacher Roldan Ponce from Santa Maria National High School.
And we are your teacher facilitators for today. Yes, Roldan, our subject to be discussed this afternoon will be personal development. And for the information of our learners, this topic is just a review of our previous lesson. So this afternoon, Teacher Roldan, our competency for this topic is appraise on one's family structure and the type of care he or she gives and receive, which may help in understanding himself or herself better. So, Sir Roldan, as we know, that each family is unique, right?
Yes, sir.
Able and raises to children in different ways, but has one main goal. It is to make them feel of being cared and loved. So again, this is something to do with the family that is very important as it provides a sense of belonging to the parties involved. Moreover, the children mostly benefit from this as they feel loved and accepted. So however, this plays a big role in their emotional and social, perhaps behavioral development. Teacher Roldan.
Yes, very well said, Teacher R. So again, the family is one of the important unit in our society and needs attention.
Yes.
Because our children feel secure in love, no? With a strong and positive family relationship.
Yes.
So positive family relationship help families resolve conflict, sir.
Yes.
So of course, kung mag-isgot ang mga conflict, no, dapat we are open-minded, no, when it comes to problems, no, daghang mga problema, mga abot sa tong kinabuhi, no, especially nowadays nga we are facing a pandemic crisis. So again, the family relationship are built on equality time, no? Communication, teamwork, and of course, appreciation of each other.
That's right, Teacher Roldan. So again, this is something to do with the group of two or more persons related by birth, marriage, adoption, who live together. And all such related persons are considered as members of one family. Actually, Sir Roldan, there are three types of family membership. So first is the family, the so-called nuclear family.
Yes,
Teacher R.
So the nuclear family, no? Again, ang word sir is very familiar, no?
Yes.
May tag nuclear, so pwede na to ma-associate niya siya into nuclear weapon, no? May ano, kuwan siya, gining common nga kuwan, si tawagan gining word.
But this time we are talking about family.
Yes,
type of kanang family membership.
Yes, sir. So nuclear family, it refers to the core members, no? The family. So usually parents and their kids, no?
Yes.
So a nuclear family consists of at most father and a mother that has never been separated, sir. So, and dependent children also. So whether it is a biological or adopted.
Yes.
So in other words, the nuclear family was long held esteemed by a society as being an ideal, no, in which to raise children, because humingon tag nuclear, it is the center, no, ang pinaka yung pinaka basic nga kuan, yung ideal family in our society.
When we are talking about family, this is the basic unit of the society.
Yes, sir. So an example of a nuclear family is a mom, no, a dad, and their kids.
Yes, sir. If I may ask you, sir, unsa man imong settings imong family karon, sir, when it comes to this? Are you in the nuclear family?
Yes, sir. Of course, sir.
So again, one of the example of the nuclear family is we have the mom, the dad, and their children, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's either biological or perhaps adopted.
Yes, sir.
So the second type of the family membership is single parent. So again, a single parent family at one hand consists of one parent raising or lives with a child or children, and who does not have a spouse or live-in partner. So often a single parent family is a mother with her children. Although there are single fathers as well as, no?
Yes, sir.
Kung makita nato kasagara kaning single parent Teacher Roldan, kato ning mga taon nga kanang wala nagkasinabot ba sa ilang perhaps
Misunderstanding,
ilang
sir.
relationship to
Yes,
children. So,
pinakakuha.
naapo dito, nadala nila ilang anak. So, usay, commonly yun na madungog yun nato is mukuyod yun ang mama sa mukuyod yun ang bata sa mama, right?
Yes, sir. But there are times,
Yes.
sir, nga sa
Ang-
papa po.
sa papa po.
It depends
So,
on the
yes.
situation.
Yes, that is the single parent.
Yes,
And most commonly, the reasons of becoming a single parent include divorce. Of course,
Yes.
break up. Since wala
Sir.
na tayong divorce, there is a we only have legal separation.
Yes, sir.
No? So, we have also the breakup, kana bang wala na kasinakot sa ilang relationship.
Yes, sir.
Of course, abandonment, kanang siguro, bibiyaan lang dito teacher will done without anything to say.
Yes, sir. Wala support.
Yes, domestic violence, this one, kana bang na ay mga physical na nga mga attributes nga na nalapas na pod sa dili na pod maayo nga
Yes, sir.
kuan. And also the rape, no? Kana bang mga unintentional but napagi-harassment nga nahitabo. That is rape, no? And of course, the death of the other parents kanang sa nanaunta sa kami nyo on teacher Roldan, pero
Yes, sir.
minsan nawa man god. So again, she or he will stand as a single parent. So again, childbirth by a single person or a single person's adoption.
Okay, sir. So, again, ang pinaka-reasons yun, no, is kanang sa breakup, misunderstanding,
yes.
sir. Ang pinaka-kuan, kaya mo ang common reasons
Right.
why
Misunderstandings.
at the end of the day na separate gid ang mga
Yes.
family. Okay, so the next or the third type of family membership is the so-called extended family. So, it is a family that extends beyond the nuclear family.
Yes.
So, kung atong tanawon, Sir R, no? Definition atong buwan, pinakauna na to, the nuclear. Na sa extension, sir.
Yes.
So,
sa
aside
nuclear, it
Yes, sir.
consists only the mom, the dad, and the children.
Yes, sir.
While in this type of membership, na-extend,
Yes, Sir R.
nadungagan.
Napunan ba? So,
Yes.
extended family structure consists of two or more adults, no, who are related by blood or by marriage, no, living in the same house.
Yes.
So this family includes many relatives such as grandparents, ang imong uncle, no, who live together and working towards a common goals such as raising the children and keeping up with household duties.
Yes.
So kung atong tanawon karon, sir, if you go into Kunik karon, siguro daghan ang naa sa extended
Yes,
family.
actually,
Yes, sir.
if I will share this to you, sir, the type or the family type of membership that I have today is extended family. Since
okay, sir. Yes, sir.
We are on the side of our in-law, my in-laws, like dito mi nagpuyo sa akong ugangan, sir, and of course nadungag ko dito sa ilang pamilya dahil ang ako pa yung anak nadungag pa dito sa ilang pamilya, so
Yes, sir.
nahimo na siyang extended family.
Yes, sir. So combination,
Yes,
sir.
so nadungagan ang pamilya.
Okay,
Yes.
sir.
So as part and parcel of our discussion earlier about what is family and the three types of family membership, namely the nuclear family, the single parent family, and the extended family. So again, those are the things that we need to remember when it comes to family membership.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
So kung nuclear family ang atong setup, like naalang si mama, si papa, ang mga anak.
Mga anak.
So
Yes,
when we say single parent family, ikaw usa ang nagmatuto o nagatiman sa mga anak. It's either you are a boy or you are a girl, a
Yes,
woman
sir.
or a man.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
So when we say extended family, more than the nuclear family setup, like natapo dito ang atong lula, lolo, atong mga
Yes,
ako,
sir.
mga inana, mga relatives. So
Yes, sir.
that is, it is belong with the extended family.
Yes, sir.
So again, for our activities are all done, I think the direction here is to identify your family structure and how your parents care for you. So they will simply cite an examples or an instances of how they care and love by their parents, and they will simply identify what kind of structure or family type of membership they have in their house. No?
Yes, sir. So,
So,
it's very simple. No?
yes.
Simple ra gid kayo.
So again, more discussions when we return. This is
Astral
Astral
Academy
Academy Cyber
Cyber School.
School. And we are back still here in
Astral Academy Cyber School.
Yes, teacher Dan,
Yes,
for us
Sir
to
R.
continue with our discussion in our next subject.
Okay, Sir R. So that was for the personal development subject. So this time, Sir R, no, the second subject is applied economics.
Yes.
Sir. But before giving the topic in the learning competency for this afternoon, let's have first a short recap, no, for the last topic that we discussed. So we have already analyzed the effects, no, of the contemporary economic issues affecting Filipino entrepreneur.
Yes,
And
sir.
we discussed the current economic issues, no, such as investment,
Yes.
interest rates, rentals, minimum wages, taxes. And during those learning activities, no, we found out, Sir R, that
Yes.
the Bayanihan Act 2 is very helpful,
Helpful.
no, to the Filipino entrepreneurs in overcoming the present-day economic issues that we are facing in this pandemic crisis right now.
Yes.
So, for this afternoon, no, learners, our learning competency, again, analyze the different principle, tools, and techniques in creating a business.
Yes.
So, we all know that the main objective of a business is, of course, to earn a profit for the owners.
Definitely, Sir Dan.
Yes, and an industry, on the other hand, is a combination of the different businesses that engage in the same line of enterprise. So, for example, Sir R, no? Silin, no? Or shall we say, the Marikina Shoe Exchange,
Yes,
no? Or
the
the MSA, sir,
Yes.
is very common and familiar, no, to our learners. So, this is a firm, no, that is part of the country's shoe industry. So, basically, there are types of business organization, or shall we say, the ways, no, to form a business.
Yes.
So to name, sole proprietorship, partnership, no, corporation, and cooperative. So now let's unlock first what is a sole proprietorship, sir.
Yes, so talking about more on the sole proprietorship, Sir Dan, this is generally the simplest way to set up a certain business. So again, it is owned by a single individual who is individually responsible for running the business and accountable for all the debts and obligation related to the business. So again, the sole proprietorship enjoys exclusive control and decision making, as well as gets all the property earnings, but he also shoulders all the losses and has unlimited liability, which means payment of his loan will extend to his personal assets. So in this kind of business organization,
Yes, sir.
Teacher Dan, this is something to do with the owner, no, itself nga, kung ikaw diha sa imong negosyo, ikaw ra gid mo oy ang nagpadagan sa
Yes.
imong kaugalingon
Responsible, no?
negosyo.
Yes, sir.
And on the other side also, Teacher Dan, besides nga imuha ng kaugalingon nga negosyo, of course, hindi mo pod masulo ang tanan nga profit, right?
Yes, sir.
No?
But
So,
not only profits.
yes,
no?
and all. So in the negative side pod,
Yes, sir.
naani mo ang dagko nga liabilities. And of course, if the business will not run in a good condition, of course, the losses will also extend to your personal assets.
Yes, sir. Especially now, di ba? Nga,
yes.
We are
In this time of pandemic.
Yes, sir.
And people nowadays would not kanang go sa mga kuan kay establishment kay, of course, nanagana gud ta nga dili gud matakdan po sa
Yes,
mga
sir.
sakit. So that's why mapiktahan ang negosyo. So again, that would be all in the sole proprietorship when it comes to the type of business organization. So solo mo tanan, ikaw ang tag-iya, at the same time ikaw tanan magdala, og ang decision making lies on the owner. Naani mo ang
Yes.
decision making. So wala na kay
Yes,
tinanglan
sir.
nga maghuna-huna pa kag imo ang shareholder nga i-consider nimo. So all of the things nga pwedeng hitabo is naa dito mga anchor sa gitawag nato og business owner. So that is the sole proprietorship.
Okay, Sir R. So, example ay ato, sir,
Yes,
no? Sa sole proprietorship, sir, is a grocery store.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
A local grocery store or perhaps a small business, no? Such as, of course, ganyan sa atong gaingon mga grocery store, Teacher Dan.
Yes, sir.
And of course, local clothes store or other related small business. Like ano mga
Yes,
sari-sari
sir.
store. Oh,
Yes, sir.
Teacher Dan.
Okay, so the next type is the so-called partnership.
Partnership.
Yes, sir. So, again, sir, kung may partner, sir,
Mm-mm.
it is in agreement, no?
Yes.
An agreement of two or more persons, no? they have to combine all the resources of business with a view of making profit.
Yes.
So each person contributes money, property, labor or skill, and of course, shares in the profits and losses of the business. So pareho rin hapon na sa kuan sir, no?
Yes.
Nga ang kalainan lang it is a partnership.
Yes, there are involvement of another person. So ganun
Yes,
nga,
sir.
solo to nimo.
Solo
Karon,
sir.
nalapoy duha. Pwede mo nga duha.
Yes, sir.
So again, puro mo duha nag-contribute og money, puro
Yes,
mo
sir.
duha when it comes to the resources sir ba, like the labor, kanang mga capital, di ba? O
Yes, sir.
the entrepreneur magtunga mo duha na of course, ang diri sir sa profit of course silang duha ang
Yes, sir.
silang duha ang pwede magbahin.
Pwede
And of
magbahin.
course, the losses of the business.
Lagi, unay ginansya po sir.
And the losses of the business, of course, sila gyapon duha kay because they have the so-called partnership agreement.
Yes, sir, R. So pareha po na to, sir, di ba?
Yes.
We are partners.
Yes.
No, partners
So
na
we
sir.
are, I mean, kita duha gadil ano nga subject.
Yes,
That
sir.
is the essence of partnership.
Partnership. Yes, sir, R.
So, an example of this, teacher Roldan.
Okay, so the example of partnership is the relationship between yan ang Red Bull and GoPro, sir, no? So ang GoPro sells more than a portable cameras
Yes.
while Red Bull sells more than energy drinks. So basta matingala itong mga learners, sir, nga layor ang products, di ba?
Yes.
Because they are both lifestyle brands that have similar goal.
Yes.
So pareho sila og kuan sir, ganing goals.
Yes.
So mo na nga sila mo i-partner.
Okay. So, and also we have two types of partnership that you're
Yes.
done. So,
Yes, sir.
we have also here the general partnership. So,
Yes, sir.
it is something to do with the management of the business, and each is personally responsible for and must assume the consequences of the action of the other partners.
Yes, sir.
And moreover, all general partners have unlimited liability, which means loan payments will extend to their personal property.
Yes, sir. So that was the general partnership.
Yes.
So the other one is the limited partnership. So some members are general partners, no, who control and manage the business and may be entitled to a greater share of the profit, while other partners are limited and contribute only capital.
Yes.
Okay, so take no part in control. So what I say control, sir,
Yes.
no, in the management, and they are liable for debts to a specific extent only.
Yes. So, in this type,
yes,
Sir Roldan, dili gyud gitagaan og tanan kahigayunan sa when it comes to management in the business.
Yes, sir.
Like
Yes, sir.
in the limited partnership, like siguro ang imuha capital lang
Ah.
or siguro ang imuha land lang.
So dili fully kuan nga kuan mo
So when
bahin
it
mo sa
comes
kuan.
to the management, there is no part in control in the entire management. And
Yes,
of
sir.
course, ang liable po sa debt niya is specific to the extent only like
yes, sir.
kung katong dako mo gid siya dako dito.
Yes,
Kung
of
wala
course,
siya labot like land lang niya, so wala
Ah.
siya labot sa kung unsa may tabo dito sa mga utang dito sa sulod
Yes, sir.
sa management.
That's why
Kaya
limited
land naman.
din, sir.
Yes,
Limited
that's
lagi
why
niya.
limited ang ilahang partnership.
Yeah.
Unlike the other one nga general partnership, like
Yes, sir.
equal ang ilaha dito.
Yes,
When
sir.
it comes to sharing their profits and when it comes to, of course, pag sagubang sa ilang mga losses,
Yes, sir.
igualo sila. Pero
So that is the very big difference, no, between general and limited partnership.
So, Teacher Roldan, we
Yes,
will
sir.
proceed to the next type of business organization. It is called corporation.
Yes, sir.
So again, corporation is a legal entity that is separate from its owner, the shareholders, and of course, no shareholder is personally liable for the debts or utang. And the obligation or acts of the corporation, the directors and officers can bear liability for their involvement with their corporation. And again, the legal entity of the corporation gives it an individual identity of its own. So
That's right, Sir R. No. So the last type, sir, is cooperative.
yes,
So
cooperative.
I think the fourth type is very familiar.
Yes,
no?
very familiar to us because we
it's
have local cooperatives.
Yes, sir.
There is a tuang.
Yes, sir.
If we are told to give a contextualized
Yes, sir.
example, daghang kay ng mga cooperative na
Yes,
sa
yes, sir.
tuang nga nag-extend og mga lain-lain nga mga services.
Yes, sir. So by definition, a cooperative is an entity organized by people with similar needs, no, to provide themselves with goods, not only goods, no, or services,
Yes.
or to jointly use available resources to improve their income.
Yes.
So a cooperative business, also known as short co-op, sir.
Co-op, yes.
Co-op, is a type of organization that is both owned and controlled by its members. So also happen to use the services and products of the cooperative. So pwede sila makagamit, sir,
Yes,
sa mga kuan.
So, ang tendency na sir, mas,
Yes.
mas gamay ang ilang percent sa ilang pag-utang.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
since they
Yes,
are a
sir.
member
Yes, sir.
of
Yes,
the cooperatives.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So these businesses now are different from other types of companies because they are formed and operate for the benefit of the members. So dili ang gitanaw diri, sir, ang nag-establish, no?
Yes, but
it is the community.
yes,
ang
but
members.
to the extent of the welfare of all the members of that certain
Yes, sir.
cooperative or co-op.
Yes, sir. So in our locality, sir, no, can you name a co-op, sir, nga kuan ganun, lakbay-lakbay mo?
Yes, we have also of course, a very well-known LTM
Oh,
PC.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So again, that is one of the example of cooperative.
Yes, sir.
So, Teacher Roldan,
Yes, sir.
in analyzing a business, you have to consider also the classification of business as to the size based on the worth of the business assets. Because at this point in time, Teacher Roldan, we will be discussing the classification of
Yes, sir.
business. Kung man, unsa naman ka nga type of, unsa naman ka nga classification sa business.
Oh, yes, sir.
So, we have the classification of business here, Teacher Roldan.
Yes, sir.
Namely, the micro business, the small business, the medium business, and the large scale business. But
And their corresponding assets, sir.
that's right,
Yes,
Teacher
sir.
Roldan. So, imo lang taon dira kung i-assess nimo kung unsa naman ka nga classification sa business karon.
Yes, sir.
So, these are the indicator or the assets or the money or the resources or the capital
Yes, sir.
nga naa nimo ana nga kantidad, right?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
when we speak of micro business, Teacher Roldan, ang iyahang assets or the money or the resources, the capital, below 1,501 peso.
Yes, sir.
Oo. So, mao na micro business,
Business,
siguro
yes,
dira. Teacher Roldan, kanang mga atong mga sari-sari store, Teacher Roldan.
Yes, sir. Mao gina, sir.
Capital, o mga inana, 1,501 above, below.
Below.
Oo, below.
Below 1.5
So,
million.
in the small business, Teacher Roldan,
Yes, sir. So, small business, sir, is 1.5 million to 15 million pesos, no? Ang ilahang assets.
Okay.
For example, money, resources, or the
Yes.
capital. So, next, sir,
we have the
medium.
medium business, we have the 15 million, I think 15 million, sir, sakto ba rin, sir?
Yes, sir.
15 million, 1 peso to 60 million.
Yes,
Right,
sir.
So, kung mag-medium business na ka, well, dagko na gini one. Although dili na siya,
Yes, sir.
wala pa siya nabilong sa large scale Teacher Roldan, but the money itself, the asset speak that mauni nga mga amount like 15
Yes, sir.
million to 1 peso to 60 million,
So,
right?
dako-dako nga capital, sir.
Yes.
So, ang pinakala, sir, is the large scale business.
Yes.
No, kini marag dako-dako ni kay na, sir. So, 60 million pesos above.
Yes,
ang
because,
iyahang capital ang i-put up.
Yes,
for the
especially
business.
those big time mga businessman.
Yes, sir.
Napagid na mga inana nga more than pagid nga ilahan, more than pagid sa ilahang kapital.
Yes, sir.
na
Not
60
only millions, no? Billions.
billions,
Or even
so.
trillions.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Dollars na ang ilang
dollars
competition.
ng ilahang kwan. So, again, those are the classification of a business as to the size based on the worth of the business assets.
Yes, sir.
Dan?
So, for any form of business, no, organization, so the business must be registered with the appropriate government agency, sir. So, for example, no, in our locality, so it is mandatory that every business establishment, sir, that we must register to have a business permit.
Yes, that's right.
So,
Sir Dan.
as sa akong na-experience, sir, sa akong private employment sa una, sir, akong nakita, sir, because ako may naka-process sa business permit ato nga time, sir. So, dapat gid, sir, annually nag-renew ka sa
Nag-renew pa sa
imong
imong,
business permit.
business permit.
Because according to the Security of Exchange Commission or kining SEC, sir.
SEC.
So we must process the documents, no? Company files. So you are required to submit
Yes.
those documents.
Again, this is
Yes,
all
sir.
mandatory, sir.
Yes, sir. It is mandatory not only to legitimize juridical entity but also to enable to legally engage in business para
Yes.
mahimong legal, sir.
Yes.
So para maka-issue kag receipts, no? Mga resibo, trade, financial assets, and be entitled to a certain rights under the country's investment laws. So for example, sir, no, naman tayo mga history, no, experiences, sir, no, katong mahimduman, sir, katong
Yes.
atong i-mention lang gamay sila, ama,
yes.
no, katong nga time. So kabaluta nga if a business nga dili gid siya officially enrolled or legally enrolled in this sect, so naagi siya
There's something wrong.
Yes, sir. Naagi problema dako
Yes.
problema, sir.
So, pero kung natanaw nimo nga ang usa ka negosyo nga imong gisudlan is ay perhaps you indulge in a certain business nga naagid sa aprobado sa SEC.
Yes,
of
sir.
course, nag-pay siya
Business
og tax.
permit.
Yes,
No,
business permit,
sir.
Nag-pay siya og tax, no?
Yes, sir.
So, again, those are the things that you need to consider in opening a certain business, perhaps engaging yourself into one's business.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so this time,
Yes.
we will proceed to our learning activity for this afternoon. So, since our learning competency this afternoon, Teacher Roldan,
Yes,
is
sir.
to analyze the different principal tools and techniques in creating a business.
Okay.
For our learning activity, Teacher Roldan.
Okay, so learners, the direction is you're going to understand, read and understand the essay question. So this time, sir, atong answeran is essay, no?
Yes.
So answer the questions below into 2 to 4 sentences only, no? And of course, you're going to support your answer, no? Based
Yes.
on the discussions that we had this afternoon.
Yes.
So suppose you are planning to put up a business, no? Analyze which type of business organization would you like to establish, and of course you're going to support, no?
Yes.
Ganong kana imong
Ano
gipili
mo ang type of organization, like the sole proprietorship, the,
Yes.
the,
Yes,
the
sir.
partnership, the cooperatives, and the corporations.
Yes, Sir R. So now to give you a guide, no? So na-mention na ni Teacher R, no? Ang different types. So you have to choose again types of business organization that you're going to establish and analyze, then support your answer based on the discussion, considering the business, of course, classification, katong size of the business, no? Classification, ang iyang assets, capital, no? Resources that you are going to analyze.
Yes.
Yes, Sir R.
So with that, stay tuned, learners, because we will be right back after a short break. This is
Astral Academy Cyber School.
Alamin ang teknolohiya sa agrikultura at pangkabuhayan upang umunlad ang ating bayan sagana sa likas na yaman. Halika na mag-ipipina, ipipina, ipipina. Halika na, mag-aral na. Alamin ang teknolohiya sa agrikultura at pangkabuhayan upang umunlad ang ating bayan sagana sa likas na yaman. Halika na mag-ipipina, ipipina, ipipina. Halika na, mag-aral na. Ipipina, 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 ipipina.
And we are back still here in
Astral Academy Cyber School.
So, kadyo sa kayang panahon, Teacher Roldan, no?
Yes, yes,
natapos
sir.
na nga ito ang pagtulunan sa ato ang grade 12 learners nga
Yes, sir.
natay subject nga Applied Economics and Personal Development.
sir.
So this time, learners, makita na on the top of your screen ato ang ikaduha nga tagdance marker para sa ato ang senior high school learners.
Yes,
And of
sir.
course, ang atong pagpasalamat ngadto sa kinatibuk ang puwersa sa DepEd Tagub City Division. Of
Yes, sir.
course,
Of
sa
course,
atong
sir.
RBI Master no less than Sir Gas Sepe. And of course, sa ato
Yes, sir.
ang mga tinun-an o mga ginikanan nga nagtanaw gyud kada adlaw diri.
Yes, sir.
So, again, this has been your Teacher R from Lorenzo Tan National High School. Sir Roldan,
Yes, sir. So, Roldan Ponce from Santa Maria National High School.
this is Astral Academy Cyber School. Bye.
Tayo, tayo na. Buksan ang mga radyo, lina at matuto sa mga aral sa mundo. Tayo, tayo na. Tumutok na sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tayo, tayo na. Let's come and learn together, supporting one another. We love, we care, we share. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tangkop time.
The Department of Education, Division of Tangub City, in partnership with the local government unit of Tangub, presents Ang Tangkub, transforming advancement in the new normal, guiding K-12 learners under broadcast media, crafted in response to the need of making education possible and accessible to students at the comfort of their homes. It covers the most essential competencies thematically layered in drama plays, which were originally written, directed, and performed by teachers to see to it that education is securely provided. This is Ang Tangkub.
Tangkub, we learn all things, it's very fun, masaya. Tangkub lang.
One important skill that you must possess is your ability to gather information from different sources available, especially during this pandemic. You will be exploring different forms of media that will make you a good reader and a good listener when it comes to news and updates of what is happening now. You will be asking yourself on details that matter the most to you and to the people in general.
There are many sources that might be useful, especially when you're going to research on a particular topic. You don't need to rely into one available source only, but also consider sources that will be helpful in making your essay, article, or research paper. Before going further, let us first define the following terminologies. Print media, or print-based media. Broadly, any written or pictorial form of communication produced mechanically or electronically using printing, photocopying, or digital methods from which multiple copies can be made through automated processes.
Non-print media. Non-print media includes everything other than print, such as television, radio, digital, out-of-home, and so on. This time, let us view a particular portion of the episode, Rotan Totoy B-Boy, and observe how the sources of information are presented in the video.
What's up mga kabarads? It's Totoy here!
And B-Boy here!
Tambay na naman tayo dito sa Rutang Totoy!
B-Boy!
Okay mga kabarads, nandito tayo ngayon sa isa namang highlights ng aming lugar tuwing Disyembre. Ito ay ang Christmas Symbols!
As you can see, kami lang dalawa ni Totoy kasi nag-ghost kami ng aming tropang igigaya sana namin ngayon. So mga kabarads, larga na!
Alamana momi yewa motese.
That you have noticed the sources of information being highlighted in the video. Can you give some? If poster is in your list, then congratulations, you're right.
What do you think is the purpose of mounting the poster along the vicinity of the city plaza? Exactly! It is to give information and to promote the place and the amenities offered for the local tourists and residents.
Poster is one of the tools used in print media. It is usually a large printed sheet that often contains pictures and is posted in a public place or is put on a wall as decoration. It is a temporary promotion of an idea, product, or event put up in a public space for mass consumption. Is a poster an example of print media or a non-print media? How about the following? Newspaper, podcasts, television, radio, computer, newsletter, magazine, cell phone, billboard, and website. To make you certain about your answer, let's dig deeper. There are two types of media. These are the print media and the non-print media. Media is a general term to the communication outlets through which we inform the public the different important data like news, music, movies, education, promotional messages, and other data. It includes physical and e-newspapers or online newspapers, magazines, billboards, radio, televisions, telephone, and the internet. Print media. Based on the Oxford reference, print media is defined as any written or pictorial form of communication produced mechanically or electronically using printing, photocopying, or digital methods from which multiple copies can be made through annotated processes. This is the best type of media that we are still using up to this day. Examples of print media are newspapers, books, journals, magazines, and reports. Newspapers are published daily or weekly, and they cover different topics from local to international news. Functions of newspapers. First, as an information provider. Second, as opinion builder. Third, as an entertainment provider. And lastly, as a ground for advertising. Magazines are issued periodically, either annually, quarterly, monthly, and weekly. They provide information, entertainment, and facilitate advertising.
Non-print media. Non-print media, on the other hand, are means used to inform people without using paper or print. They have become very common to all people, both as a tool in the educational process and as means of spreading information all throughout the world. TV and radio are examples of broadcast media. The radio was invented about a century ago, while television came up at the end of the 1940s. One fast-growing medium is the internet. It offers people content from all other forms of media. It is booming amidst the expense of the other two mentioned earlier. Many people are depending on the internet while they are working, shopping, learning, or even spending leisure or pleasure time. Mobile devices or cell phones are wireless devices that can receive and send messages, browse the net, take photos, play games, and record videos. It also has applications that gives user access wherever and whenever. So what is your favorite app? Is it TikTok, Wordscapes, or Candy Crush Saga? Social media is a combination of online telecommunication channels where netizens or citizens using the internet interact, share content, and collaborate. Examples of this type for social networking are Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You could have a Facebook account with thousands of friends across the globe.
A podcast is a piece of this audio-like story, interview, or a documentary. It can be downloaded from the internet. Created in 2014, podcasting has become famous for making people enjoy listening these audio-like stories, interviews, or documentaries wherever they go. Website is a presentation of images, videos, or information posted on the internet. By searching a certain keyword using the search engine, it will lead you to a certain website. The information posted on this site varies from certain topics that offer other links, advertisements, and other pop-out images. One must be able to differentiate reliable sources from unreliable ones. Video is a recording of motion pictures or television programs for playing through a television set. Nowadays, video is popularly found on the internet like on YouTube, Facebook, or Netflix. It can be downloaded from YouTube and seen on Facebook. Netflix offers a variety of movies that you need to pay a premium before watching. There are actually two types of sources. A primary source is anything that presents direct evidence or information about people, events, or phenomena that you are looking for. The information that you are researching comes from witnesses or comes from actual setting itself. Examples of these sources are interviews, surveys, experiments, letters, photographs, and newspapers.
Secondary source is anything that describes, interprets, evaluates, or analyzes information out from the original source. Some examples are books, articles, reviews, and essays.
Now that you're already equipped with the skill on how to research information using print and non-print media sources, kindly get your activity sheet and do the task. Activity number 1. Directions. As a grade 7 student, your teachers will be asking you to do some researching on a certain topic to be used in essay writing or reporting. You are now going to list down your sources and answer what is needed on the box below. The first one is done for you.
Activity 2. Directions. Research 5 information about a given topic, then indicate the source. Topic: COVID-19. Researching a topic with support from print and non-print media is a skill that a 21st century student like you should be able to master. With the rise of modern technologies, news coming from fake sources also flood the internet gateways.
You, being a responsible citizen, must be able to choose your information well. It has to come from credible media platform, whether print or non-print. Surely, if you have the correct information, it will help you become an eligible person and not easily persuaded by other people's unbiased opinion.
Remember to support your sources from trusted sources.
Thank you for your time, learners. This has been your English teachers, Mama Halia
And Ma'am Pinky,
still here in your one and only educational TV program, Ang Tangkub. Bye!
Hello grade 7 learners, I am teacher James and welcome to another learning episode of Astral Academy Cyber School. Our lesson for today in TLE Handicraft Exploratory course is to identify the basic tools used in embroidery. Embroidery is the ornamentation of textiles and other materials with needlework for personal use and decoration not only at home but for offices as well. The term embroidery is an English word derived from the Old French embroiders, meaning edge and border. Here are the tools and materials used in embroidery. Gauge, used to measure short distance. Tape measure, used for measuring more than 1 foot distance or materials. Thimbles, made from metal or plastic to protect the middle finger and push the needle while doing your embroidery work. These come in sizes of 6, which is small, to 12, which is large. Crewel, sizes of 1 to 10 are sharp-pointed, medium length, with large eyes for easy threading. They are used for most standard embroidery stitchery. Chenille, sizes of 13 to 26 are also sharp-pointed needles, but they are thicker and longer and have larger eyes. They are the types of needles appropriate for embroidery that is worked with heavier yarns. Embroidery hoop or stiletto, made of wood, bone, metal, or plastic, used to make eyelets in the fabric to be embroidered. It is also used to keep the fabric stretched while embroidery stitches are applied on the design. It is advisable to place tissue paper over the inner hoop or twist, or wrap the inner hoop with a thin material to prevent markings on the fabric. Embroidery scissor is a small, sharp, and pointed, good for fine work used for trimming scallops, clipping threads, and cutting large eyelets. Needle threader is used for easier threading, especially by those sewers with poor eyesight. Tracing paper, used for tracing designs. Watercolor brush, used for transferring the design using pricking and bouncing methods. Bag, to keep work clean and fresh, have a bag made from washable material to hold your work when not busy on it. Sewing box, used to keep together the embroidery tools and materials. Materials used in embroidery. Fabric, sometimes referred to as cloth, are of great variety and they differ in material, weave, design, color, and finish. 3 types of fabric. Common weave includes most tightly woven fabrics with a relatively smooth surface like linen, wool, and cotton. They are best used for articles with decorative stitches. Even weave are intended for hardanger embroidery since the number of threads per square inch is same for both warp and woof. Basket weave is commonly used by beginners and ramie linen by those who have been used to this embroidery. It supplies guidelines for cross-stitch and smocking, having an evenly spaced pattern like gingham cloth and polka dots. Another material used in embroidery is thread. Thread is available in various types. They differ in terms of texture, fiber content, number of strands, and colors. Threads are usually coded in numbers and color names. They can be both in skeins, bows, or spools. The color of the thread should suit the color and texture of the design and the fabric to be embroidered. There you have it, learners. Those are the different tools and materials used in embroidery. This time, let's try to check your understanding from today's lesson. Please get your activity sheet in TLE Handicraft Exploratory course and answer the given questions. Before we end, always remember, love is what carries you, for it is always there, even in the dark, or most in the dark, but shining out at times like gold stitches in a piece of embroidery. This has been Teacher James saying continue learning and hashtag Shine Tango Stars.
and welcome to Ang Tangkub, your one and only educational TV program where you learn new things every day.
Were you able to encounter a combination of two or more communication modes in one particular piece of writing or literature? Surely you do. Especially when you watch a movie, all semiotic systems are actually combined.
What we are referring to is the focus of this lesson. Yes, for at the end of this lesson, you're expected to compare and contrast the presentation of the same topic in different multimodal texts.
To get going, let us define these important terms.
Multimodal text convey meaning through a combination of elements that draw upon several semiotic systems.
Semiotic system is a system of signs and symbols that which are used to convey meaning.
There are 5 semiotic systems. First, linguistic. This involves vocabulary, structure, grammar of oral or written language.
Second, visual. It involves color, vectors, and viewpoint in still and moving images.
Audio has something to do with volume, pitch, and rhythm of music and sound effects.
The fourth one, gestural. It has movement, facial expression, and body language.
And lastly, spatial. This includes proximity, direction, position of layout, organization of objects in space. Now, to illustrate an example of multimodal text, let us watch this video playback.
Mga barad, may naisip na akong content. Baka gusto nyo mag-guest sa vlog namin ni B-Boy.
Wow, excited na ako para bukas, Barad. Nasaan na kayong mga tao dito? December na December. Pero ang daming ghost.
Gawa ka na lang ng poll, Brad. Baka sakaling matauhan sila.
Sige, Barad. Uy! May improvement!
Based on the video, you have learned that Totoy made a poll in order to know how many of his friends are going to the Christmas symbols capital of the Philippines. Do you think what Totoy used is an example of multimodal texts? If you answered yes, you're correct. Now you might ask, what makes a multimodal text? You can always go back to the definition given a while ago and make a checklist in your head. If you think that the example has linguistic elements, check it. If you think it uses visual systems, either still or moving image, another check. If you were able to check at least 2, then what you are reading or seeing is an example of a multimodal text. Let us have another example. The story of Buddha. Queen Yashodhara once had a dream that she gave birth to her son next to a white elephant. The queen miraculously gave birth to her son Siddhartha Gautama. Gautama was predicted to be a big ruler or god from birth. He is born in 6th B. Gautama's dad did not want him to be a big ruler, and since the household is patriarchal, he decided to give him all the luxuries in order to make Gautama happy. The young man went to the real world and realized that people suffered. He saw an injured man, an old man, and a corpse. The young man isolated himself from all his luxuries. He started to contemplate in order to find the answer of why people suffered and had pain. He was very focused, for he ignored all surroundings and only focused on one thing. He found an answer after a long time. He reached the goal of everyone: enlightenment. Because of this, he is now known as Buddha, or the Enlightened One. Buddha wanted his philosophy to be spread towards the world so he sends missionaries to other countries. Nowadays, Buddhism is a culture in which people follow the Noble Truths and Eightfold Path in order to reach enlightenment. The people are also very cohesive due to how Buddha became a leader and wanting to follow his footsteps. That is a storyboard about the life of Buddha. This is also a multimodal text because of the combination of two semiotic systems, such as linguistic and visual. Now, let us try to compare and contrast this one presented in the storyboard and the other one in a 5-minute video clip. Please watch this.
Look at that cute little prince. It's Buddha. Though right now he's still called Siddhartha Gautama. Siddhartha lives in a palace in India. His parents believe that this little guy will become something extraordinary. To know this for sure, they ask an astrologer to consult the stars about the future. He will either become a very powerful ruler like his father, or he becomes a holy man and your family will lose all power in the kingdom. Oh my! Don't worry as long as you keep him away from sickness, aging, poverty and death, it will be all right. They decide to protect the prince from all such experiences. Siddhartha grows up, gets married and has kids without having met ordinary people outside the palace. But one day, Siddhartha drives his cart outside the palace area. There he witnesses how ordinary people live. He sees an old man, a sick man, and a beggar monk in the street. He also drives by a dead man. What? People get sick and are poor and die? Life is just endless suffering. Siddhartha doesn't want to suffer, and he doesn't want anyone else to do so either. This must be solved. He leaves his wife and child and goes away. Siddhartha asks a lot of wise men for advice on how to live, but doesn't get any good answers. So he decides to try not eating. He will starve himself like a beggar monk, an ascetic. Look how thin he has become. This clearly doesn't work. It won't make one happier. No, Siddhartha realizes this. He gives up the idea of starving himself and sits down beneath a Bodhi tree to meditate. Here he decides to stay until he's found the solution. Nothing will make him move. An evil demon called Mara appears to tempt him. Mara offers him lots of great things, but Siddhartha just stays put. And finally, after having meditated for 49 days, Siddhartha realizes what's wrong. Humans are never satisfied. They always want more. And this wanting to have more never ends. And then the suffering never ends either. So now Siddhartha has realized how it is. He has become enlightened. And that is what the word Buddha means. Now he is no longer Siddhartha Gautama, but Buddha. Buddha wants more people to realize this. Some of his friends listen to him and start to follow him. They become his disciples. Buddha preaches to them and to other people. At this time in India, everyone is Hindu. The Hindus believe in rebirth, reincarnation. You are born, live, die, are born, live, die, and so on, in an endless cycle, samsara. Stop! I want to get off! Buddha preaches the importance of getting free from samsara. Getting reborn makes it impossible to avoid suffering. Buddha had tried both being rich and starving. These are two exaggerated ways of living, and neither are good. He believes it to be better to choose a middle way. But hey, Buddha, If you're not born again, where do you end up after death? You don't get to a place, but to a condition where you don't want anything. Nirvana. Why do you call it nirvana? Nirvana means blown out. All your desires are blown out, and you have reached a kind of peace. Buddha wanders around preaching how to reach nirvana. When Buddha dies, there have become many disciples. Now it's time for them to pass on his teachings.
Similarly, both presented the same story about the life of Buddha. What makes all the difference is the 5-minute video was able to provide us with more information than the printed version. The printed version, which is the storyboard, is limited because it attempted to present the whole story of the life of Buddha, or Siddhartha Gautama, in just 6 frames of photos. It is right to say that the video clip contains more information, and this piece of information must be retained by viewers or students like you. According to some studies, the more senses are involved in learning, the more chances of retaining new information and knowledge. Comparing and contrasting the presentation of the same topic in different multimodal text is easy. You just need to be observant and critical about the things that make them the same or different. Bear in mind that still images are incomparable to photographs, which could be a one-man show, while moving or motion pictures and videos are actually a collective effort. For instance, the video is said to be collective as we cannot have a video with just one still image. For making a video, you need to be able to capture many interesting images. Then all of them together will make an entirety. There are also some advantages of still visuals and photos, as the storyboard a while ago, in the sense that you can understand and read a story in one setting without the use of any technology, such as television, phone, or any viewing gadget. Once printed on a book or paper, you can read it and analyze anytime and anywhere.
Some other examples of multimodal text are the following:
Movies,
infographics,
booklets,
sketchnoting,
books,
emails,
podcasts,
advertisements,
newscasts,
book trailers,
animation,
images with annotation,
comics,
brochures,
broadcasts,
animation,
visual note-taking,
tutorial guides,
mind map,
presentations,
type drawing,
text messages,
ebooks,
letters,
diagrams,
posters,
cards,
videos,
screenshots,
blogging. To emphasize multimodal texts, from the prefix multi, which means many, and modal, which means way of communicating information. So from now on, when you see, watch, or view something that communicates a message using more than one semiotic system, it is surely an example of multimodal text.
This time, it's your turn to tell us your understanding about the lesson. Kindly get your activity sheet in English, read the directions, and do or answer what is asked of you. We know you can make it!
Directions. Compare and contrast the presentation of the same story, The Tale of Chunyang, in different multimodal text. The first one is a short animated video clip, and the second one is a plot diagram through the use of a Venn diagram. The link of the short animated video is flashed on your screen. Continue to love, care, and share grade 8 learners. This is Mama Halia
and Mom Pinky,
your English teachers. Still here in your one and only educational TV program, Ang Tangkub. God bless and never take English learning for granted. It is your passport to the world. Goodbye!
Bye!
Hello grade 8 learners, I am teacher James and welcome to another learning episode of Astral Academy Cyber School. Our lesson for today in Computer Hardware Servicing Exploratory course is to identify the hardware tools used in computer hardware servicing. A tool is a handheld device that aids in accomplishing a task. Tools range from a traditional metal cutting part of a machine to an element of a computer program that activates and controls a particular function. Hardware tools. To complete hardware repairs, it is important to have a toolkit that should contain all of the necessary tools. As you gain experience, you will learn which tools to have available for different types of jobs. Hardware tools are grouped into these 4 categories. Electrostatic discharge or ESD tools, hand tools, cleaning tools, diagnostic tools. Electrostatic discharge or ESD tools. Static electricity is easily generated by friction on carpets, tile, flooring, clothing, hair, fabric, and etc. The friction of moving air alone will charge suspended particles and cause the buildup of static electrical charges on people and objects in the environment. Grounded anti-static work mats used with anti-static wrist straps provide the most basic means for the controlled discharge of electrostatic electricity. Examples of ESD tools are anti-static wrist strap, used to prevent ESD damage to computer equipment. Anti-static mat, used to stand on or place hardware on to prevent static electricity from building up. Hand tools. A hand tool is a device for performing work on a material or a physical system using only hands. The hand tools can be manually used, employing force, or electrically powered using electrical current. Examples of hand tools: flathead screwdriver, used to loosen or tighten slotted screws. Phillips head screwdriver, used to loosen or tighten crosshead screws. Torque screwdriver, used to loosen or tighten screws that have a star-like depression on the top, a feature that is mainly found on laptops. Hex driver, sometimes called a nut driver, is used to tighten nuts in the same way that a screwdriver tightens screws. Needle nose plier, used to hold small parts. Wire cutter, used to strip and cut wires. Tweezers, used to manipulate small parts. Part retriever, used to retrieve parts from locations that are too small for your hand to fit. Flashlight, used to light up areas that you cannot see well. Cleaning tools. Having the appropriate cleaning tools is essential when maintaining or repairing computers. Using these tools ensures that computer components are not damaged during cleaning. Examples of cleaning tools: lint-free cloth, used to clean different computer components without scratching or leaving debris. Compressed air, used to blow away dust and debris from different computer parts without touching the components. Cable ties, used to bundle cables neatly inside and outside of a computer. Parts organizer, used to hold screw, jumpers, fasteners, and other small parts and prevents them from getting mixed together. Diagnostic tools. Computers are easier to use and more dependable with each new generation of hardware and operating system update, but that doesn't mean they're problem-free. Here's the most popular tools for diagnosing your computer problem. Multimeter, used to test the integrity of circuits and the quality of electricity in computer components. Loop-back adapter, used to test the functionality of computer ports. There you have it, learners. Those are the different hardware tools used in computer hardware servicing. This time, let's try to check your understanding from today's lesson. Please get your activity sheet in TLE Computer Hardware Servicing Exploratory course and answer the given questions. Before we end, always remember, it is essential to have good tools, but it is also essential that the tools should be used in the right way. This has been Teacher James saying continue learning and hashtag Shine Tanggub Stars.
We get or gather information not just from a book or a newspaper. We can actually gather information from various sources, which are often useful. Readily available printed text or media explaining what purpose and services you are looking for should come in handy.
What's up, grade 9 learners? We hope that you are doing great today and are now ready to develop your skills in getting information from different printed media. Hence, learning the following significant terminologies will help us in our journey of meaningful learning. Print media or print-based media. Broadly, any written or pictorial form of communication produced mechanically or electronically using printing, photocopiing, or digital methods from which multiple copies can be made through automated processes. There are several tools used in print media, and they are as follows: newspaper, magazine, journals, newsletters, flyers, brochures or pamphlets, leaflets, and posters.
This time, let us view a segment of the episode, Rotang Totoy B-Boy, and kindly observe the tool used in the video to give information about the featured tourist destination.
What's up mga kabarads? It's Totoy here!
And B-Boy here!
Tambay na naman tayo dito sa Rutang Totoy!
B-Boy!
Okay mga kabarads, nandito tayo ngayon sa isa namang highlights ng aming lugar tuwing Disyembre. Ito ay ang Christmas Symbols!
As you can see, kami lang dalawa ni Totoy kasi nag-ghost kami ng aming tropang igigaya sana namin ngayon. So mga kabarads, larga na!
Alamana momi yewa motese.
have noticed the printed materials shown in the video. Can you give some? If poster is included in your list, then congratulations, you've got it right.
What do you think is the purpose of mounting the poster along the vicinity of the city plaza? Exactly! It is to give information and to promote the place and amenities offered for the local tourists and residents. Poster is one of the tools used in print media. It is usually a large printed sheet that often contains pictures and is posted in a public place or is put on a wall as decoration. It is a temporary promotion of an idea, product, or event put up in a public space for mass consumption.
Aside from poster, one information that works well to deliver information is brochure. A brochure is a concise, visually appealing, and well-designed document in order to grab the attention of the viewers. In this lesson, you will be learning about the significant features of brochures and their purpose. In order to learn those, let us first accomplish this task. Prepare a response for these questions inside the brochure chart. Remember about the place you visited before. Questions. First, where did you go? Second, who were your companions? Third, what were the activities you engaged while you were there? Fourth, when did it happen? Were there a time frame in your vacation? And lastly, how did you get there? Were there directions to help you? The responses you made are just few of the information that a brochure should contain. Not only to promote something, but also to offer expectations for the readers. Now you must learn that a brochure is a printed media or an informative paper document, often used for sharing and is usually a promotional material. Brochures are actually being referred to as pamphlets, flyers, or leaflets. In addition, a brochure can also be used to first explain your organization's purpose and services. Second, provide significant information about an organization or travel. And lastly, to educate people about a specific program or event. An example of a travel brochure will be flashed on your screen. Study the material so that you can answer the questions that follow. Questions. Who are the target visitors? Second, what are some activities can a tourist have? Third, were there directions? Cite some. Fourth, when will it happen? What is the time frame? Fifth, why do some tourists want to experience all the activities? Let us see if we have almost the same answer. The first question is, who are the target visitors? The target visitors are the beach lovers and tourists. Second question, what are some of the activities that the tourists can enjoy? Possible answer could be, these are enjoying the crystal clear waters, white sand beaches, amenities, facilities, and nightlife. The third question is, were there contact information? Cite some. Yes, there are contact numbers, websites, and address given. The fourth question is, when will it happen? What is the time frame? The offers are actually available year-round. Last question is, why should some tourists love Boracay? The possible answer is because Boracay is considered as a tropical paradise in the Philippines.
Congratulations, learners! You already have the skill on how to get information from print media, particularly a brochure. Before having an activity, let us learn first that a brochure has text features, with parts of printed items that help the reader to find and learn information easily, such as print features, organizational aids, graphic aids, and pictures or illustrations. These are essential in knowing and learning about the features in a brochure. Remember that a brochure can be a valuable tool in explaining, answering questions, and educating or promoting an event. Brochures are professional looking, and with the text features, they can greatly attract a wide variety of audience. For you to get and understand the information, always be guided with these features of our brochures as follows. First, print features with font, italics, bold print, colored print, bullets, titles, headings, subheadings, labels, sidebars, text boxes, and captions. Second, organizational aids with table of contents, index, glossary, preface, pronunciation guide, and appendix. Third, graphic aids with diagrams, sketches, graphs, comparisons, figures, maps, charts, tables, cross-sections, timelines, and overlays. Fourth, illustrations with colored photographs, color drawings, black and white photographs, black and white drawings, label drawings, and enlarged photographs. Now that you already know how to get information from a brochure, kindly get your activity sheet and do the instructions. Directions. Get information from the given brochures and answer the questions that follow.
Thank you for your time, learners. This is Mama Halia
and Mom Pinky,
your English teacher, is saying, continue to love, care, and share. Still here in your one and only educational TV program, Ang Tangkub. Bye!
Hello grade 9 learners, I am Teacher James and welcome to another learning episode of Astral Academy's Cyber School. Our lesson for today in TLE 9 Bread and Pastry Production is to store bakery products according to established standards and procedure. Storing bakery products is one of the most important activities after baking preparation. Bakery products are to be kept properly to avoid spoilage. Here are the storing techniques of your bakery products. Wrapping, to draw, fold, and cover a bakery product. Packaging material, used to package bakery products like box, plastic, or container. Cold storage, the process of preventing perishable food on a large scale at a low temperature or above the freezing point, which is 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Chilling. It is a method in which raw or processed food is cooled to a temperature between 0 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius. Freezing. Subjecting food to temperature below freezing point or 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Using refrigerator. It is an appliance to make or keep something, especially food or drink, cold so that it stays fresh, usually in a fridge. There you have it, learners. Those are the different ways of storing bakery products. This time, let's try to check your learning from today's lesson. Please get your activity sheet in TLE Bread and Pastry Production 9 and answer the given questions. Before we end, always remember, keep storing memories as they are never gonna repeat in your life. This has been Teacher James saying continue learning and hashtag Shine Tangub Stars.
you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not take revenge?
Are the lines familiar? Those are actually taken from the famous play, The Merchant of Venice, written by the most celebrated and famous author and playwright, William Shakespeare.
Hey there, grade 10 learners! Are you now ready for another meaningful lesson to learn? Bear with us as we identify the language features of argumentative text such as rhetorical questions and declarative statements.
Have you ever tried asking questions that may have an obvious answer? Or one that requires no answer at all? Or a question that you can immediately answer? If you did, then surely you have employed or applied rhetorical questions.
For a sort of recap and to avoid confusions, let us be acquainted with the following terminologies. Argumentative text or essay is a genre of writing that requires the student to investigate a topic, collect, generate, and evaluate evidence, and establish a position on the topic in a concise manner. Rhetorical question is a question asked to create an impact or make a statement rather than getting an answer. It is a powerful literary device when used effectively can add immense value to your writing. Declarative statement more technically refers to what is expressed by such sentence. Statements have truth value. They are true or false, although for a given statement, we may not know its truth value.
Now, let us play back this episode of the video and analyze if the question asked by Totoy is rhetorical.
Mga kabarads, paalala lang sa mga nagbabalak mamasyal dito, kailangang sundin natin ang mga protocols kasama na doon ang pagsuot ng face mask, face shield at temperature check. Dahil kung above 37 degrees, hindi ka pwedeng makapasok. Hindi rin tayo dapat mabahala dahil sinisecure na ng ating LGUs ang kaligtasan ng lahat. May mga first aider tayong nakaantabay 24 oras.
So ngayon Barad, ipaliwanag muna natin kung bakit hindi kasing laki noon ang Christmas symbols natin ngayon.
Tumpak Barad, maswerte tayo ngayon dahil nandito si Sir Deca, ang tourism officer ng Tanggub. O Sir, maaari niyo po bang i-explain sa ating mga kabarad kung bakit Christmas Village sa halip na naglalaki ang Christmas symbols?
Based on our definition a while ago, a rhetorical question does not aim at getting an answer. Let us take a look at the scenario. Did Totoy ask the question to get an answer? Definitely, yes. Totoy wanted an answer from Sir Deca, but it is not the yes or no answer because it's obvious. He actually wanted an explanation right away. Let us translate the question and analyze it again. Sir, can you explain to our viewers why the concept is Christmas Village instead of the traditional gigantic Christmas symbols?
Given the question, the expected answer is not whether or not Sir Deca can answer the question, but to actually provide an explanation. This may fall short of our definition of a rhetorical question.
This time, let us borrow the words of William Shakespeare in his play, Merchant of Venice. For surely, those are rhetorical questions. And we will discuss what makes each of them a rhetorical question and what effect does it convey to the readers. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge?
As you can see, Shakespeare used not just one, but 4 rhetoric questions. Do the questions evoke human empathy? Were you moved or touched with the questions? If yes, then the literary technique is effective because it moves us and pushes us to think.
We use rhetorical questions in argumentative text if we want to.
First, hook readers. When you begin with a rhetorical question, you make the reader reflect and give an indication of where you are headed with your argument instead of starting your essay with a dull, boring statement. Posing a question to make a point is a lot more striking.
Second, evoke emotions. When you manage to trigger an emotional response and strike a chord with the reader, that is when your writing is considered truly effective. Whether it is evoking the feelings of joy, sadness, rage, hope, or disgust, using rhetorical questions thus manage to steer the kind of emotional appeal you're going for. If you want readers to nod with agreement, using rhetorical questions to garner that response is a good idea, which is why rhetorical questions are used in argumentative or persuasive texts.
Number 3, make a point. Making a statement and following it up with rhetorical question is a smart way to emphasize it and drive the message home. It can be a disturbing statistics, well-known fact, or even argument that you are presenting, but when you choose a question, it tends to draw more emphasis.
The fourth one, this is the last, make a smooth transition. Using rhetorical questions is one way you can connect paragraphs and maintain cohesiveness in writing. You can pose a question when you want to introduce a new point or conclude a point and emphasize it.
There are actually types of rhetorical questions, and for this lesson, we will be discussing the 3 commonly used types.
The first one is epiplexis. Is an interrogative figure of speech in which questions are asked in order to rebuke or reproach rather than to elicit answers. It is a form of argument in which a speaker attempts to shame an opponent into adopting a particular point of view. Examples: am I my brother's keeper? Second one: why do we live so greedily when others go without meals every night?
Number 2, erothesis is a rhetorical figure used when the speaker adopts a kind of interrogation primarily not to express a doubt, but ironically and confidently asserting the reverse of the statement. Examples: how many roads must a man walk down before you can call him a man? Second, what should honest citizens do?
Third one is ratiocinatio. Is reasoning typically with oneself by asking questions. More specifically, ratiocinatio can mean making statements, then asking the reason, ratio, for such an affirmation, then answering oneself. Examples: first, we must buy a more fuel-efficient car, maybe a hybrid. Why? Gasoline prices are rising every week. Second, what's this? What's this? Is this her fault or mine? The tempter or the tempted? Who sins most?
Now that you already know much of rhetorical question, let us proceed to the characteristics of declarative statement that are commonly used in argumentative texts.
For the purpose of argumentative writing, which is commonly persuasive in nature, unless you are delivering a speech or extended piece of writing, the declarative statements in paragraphs should be kept relatively short and to the point.
The desired effect is to get your message across as concisely as effective as possible by choosing vocabulary very carefully and employing a range of persuasive techniques. If you include quotations from a reliable sources or eyewitness to support your arguments, make sure you use speech marks.
Alright, those are the things that you need to know in order to showcase your learning in this lesson. In a little while, you're expected to identify the language features in argumentative texts, specifically the rhetorical questions and declarative statements.
Are you now ready to show us what you understood from this lesson? Get your activity sheet and read the directions.
Activity number 1, directions. Read and analyze the following questions carefully and choose the latter of the best answer. Activity number 2, directions. Write one declarative statement which expresses your claim or belief about the controversial coronavirus vaccine.
Dear learners, life may seem an endless search for answer, but always remember that some questions in life remain unanswerable because the mysteries are part of the great schemes of things, making us walk through in life with faith that the uncertain and unknown journey is worthwhile.
Thank you for being with us, grade 10 learners. I am Mama Halia,
And Ma'am Pinky,
your English teacher, is saying, continue to love, care, and share. Still here in your one and only educational TV program, Ang Tangkub. Stay tuned for up next is a brand new lessons in TLE. Bye!
Hello, grade 10 learners. I am Teacher James and welcome to another learning episode of Astral Academy Cyber School. Our lesson for today in TLE 10 Housekeeping is to observe safety measures and procedures in handling cleaning tools, equipment, and other supplies. Particularly, we will be discussing the safety in handling cleaning chemicals. Cleaning chemicals are used to make the cleaning job easy, such as all-purpose cleaner, detergents, abrasives, and many more. Chemicals should be handled and used properly, for they are hazardous to the user's health and safety. Here are the safety practices in handling cleaning chemicals in the housekeeping. Use the appropriate protective equipment when handling concentrated cleaning chemicals. There should be a complete list of all cleaning chemicals used in the facility. Details like how many gallons are stored, where they are stored, potential hazards, and precautionary measures for each chemical should be included in the list. There should be safety data sheets for each chemical used or stored. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions of using the chemicals. If not used the right way, these cleaning chemicals may not effectively work and can be harmful. All cleaning chemicals should be kept in their original containers. Never mix chemicals even if they are of the same type. Combining ammonia and chlorine bleach, for example, can produce the fatal gas chlorine gas. Do not use different cleaners as an alternative unless the intended use is the same. Install safety signage that quickly conveys possible dangers and precautions related to the chemicals. It is important that you know exactly what the following signal words mean. Caution: the product should be used carefully but is relatively safe. Warning: the product is moderately toxic. Danger: the product is highly toxic and may cause permanent damage to skin and eyes. There you have it, learners. Those are the safety practices in handling cleaning chemicals. This time, let us try to check your understanding from today's lesson. Please get your activity sheet in TLE Housekeeping 10 and answer the given questions. Before we end, always remember, tomorrow is your reward for working safely today. This has been Teacher James saying continue learning and hashtag Shine Tangub Stars.
We hope that you have learned the most essential lessons you need to master. See you on our next episodes. This has been Ang Tangkub.
Tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fun, masaya. Tangkub time. manood sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tayo na. Let's come and learn together, supporting one another. We love, we care, we share. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. It's tangkop, tangkop, tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na. Tangkop, tangkop time.
This is the way we speak. This is the way we read. This is the way we write. This is the English way. This is the way we speak. This is the way we read. This is the way we write. This is the English way. Come and learn to speak and write of the language of the world. Learn to understand the language of the world. This is the way we speak. This is the way we read. This is the way we write. This
Good afternoon to all our junior high school learners. Hello everyone. Welcome to Astral Academy Cyber School. And today is another day for them to learn English subjects. I am Mama Halia from Santa Maria National High School.
And I am your Ma'am Pinky of Sumirap National High School.
And we are your teacher facilitators for today.
Yes, today Mama Halia is January 26, 27 rather.
Okay.
January 27, Thursday, and today we will be learning English subjects. More of those when we return. This is Astral
still
Academy,
Astral Academy
Cyber School.
And we are back, still here in Astral Academy Cyber School.
Hello, hello there, our grade 7 learners. We hope that you are ready for our new lesson this afternoon, Mamahalya.
Yes,
And
exactly,
for our
okay.
competency,
Our competency for grade 7 English, and that is to extract information from a text using a summary.
yes, so your skill in summarizing will be honed this
Yes,
afternoon,
exactly.
so you listen carefully.
It is very important for them to learn how to summarize
Yes.
because in almost all subjects, they are actually asked to summarize, not just
That's
in
right.
English.
In any
Also in
subject.
science, for example, and
Araling
Yes,
Palipunan.
Araling Palipunan.
Although the medium will be different, but still the skill to
Yes.
develop is
the same. So what is then a summary? So a summary is a shortened version of a text, piece, or a gist. So remember the following when summarizing a text. So first is that you need to base your summary on the original piece.
Of course.
Okay,
And
so never deviate from the original. Although you might get tempted, they might get
Yes.
tempted to actually analyze, make an analysis, or to comment on the piece they are actually reading, but that is not a summary. You are not going to include your own personal opinion. You just need to lay down the gist or the précis of what you read.
That's right. And
Okay.
of course, you have to keep your summary short because you are now summarizing. So your
Yes.
summary should be shorter than the original text, of course, learners.
Okay, basically. And you also need to use your own words when summarizing. So this means to say that although they might also get tempted to actually copy what's from the text.
Yes.
But the best summary is a summary that is using your own
Words or
Yes.
idea.
That is correct.
Okay, and then refer to the central and main ideas of the original piece. Meaning, what's the meaning of this? You have to get the central or the core idea of the article or
Exactly.
piece that you are summarizing.
Yes, and also you need to read with who, what, when, where, why, and how. So these are basic questions. So for those of you who have background in summarizing, these are very important details we need to include. And of course, lastly, Mamping, that is
Of course, you have to avoid putting in your own opinion. That is what you had mentioned a while ago. About the issue or topic discussed in the original piece.
Yes, because it will become a commentary
Yes,
if they are
of
to do that.
course.
So we are just asked of a summary. Okay, and there are of course several strategies to consider when summarizing a text. The first one is that we need to read the entire text. This will actually help us to understand the details of the text. Because if we already learned the entire meaning of the text, then it will be easy for us to make a summary.
That's right. And then, identify the title, author, and text type. So this will make it clear which ideas are those of the author and the text being summarized. Of course, you have to refer your own words, using your own words, although you are using your own words, but you have to still refer it to the original writer, who is the author.
Yes, exactly. And of course, number 3, the third strategy is for you to describe the central ideas. This tells what the text is mainly about. For example, you're asked a summary of the Chinese Cinderella, so you might give a general gist of what is it. For example, like This literary piece was written by the author, for example, Adeline Yanma, and you also need to include maybe the cultural context. Is it a cultural story? That story actually, Ma'am Pink, is
Yes.
about a girl in China. So they're actually told that beautiful women should have very small feet. So the Chinese Cinderella talks about this culture in China. So
Okay.
imagine.
And then identify key supporting details. So what's this? This is one way of analyzing a text which helps you understand the overall text clearly. If you have the central idea, of course, you have also the supporting elements to elaborate the ideas more, or to
Yes.
give more information about the central idea.
Okay, and the fifth one, avoid opinions and pinpoint details. This could change how you interpret the text based on the summary. You must rely only on the factual elements, of course, because opinions are not equated with facts. So when we summarize, we're just after of the facts, the W's in it, the Y's in it, the house, but not necessarily making our own opinion and judgment on the validity of the material being
That's right, Mama
read.
Halia. And of course, on our next slide, we have the different types of text structures. Ato lang ni
Yes.
siyang agian because we already discussed this in our previous
lessons. Alright.
So we have how many, Mama Halia? We have
We
five.
have five, yes. The first one, this is very common, and that is description. When we talk about description, this is the type of text structure features a detailed description of something to give a reader a mental picture.
That's right.
So when we talk about descriptions, all of the sensory images or all our senses are being tapped. Visual, you have auditory, how does it look like, it sounds like, how does it taste like, gustatory, how does
That's
it
right.
smell, olfactory, and tactile, when you touch it, for example. So all of these very vividly detailed elaboration of something, so that is description. So an example might be a book may tell about the whales or describe what geography is like in particular region.
Okay.
So yeah, this would entail description. So
That's
this is
right.
a descriptive essay. So it is expected that we will be having we will use terms, adjectives, for example, adverbs as well, and very strong verbs are found on your summary.
That's right, because not all of us are given the chance to travel to other places. So through that description, as if we are going
Like
to
for
reach that
example, you
place.
went to a garden, for example, and then you would say that the verdant greenery all around.
Yes.
So verdant, so that means maybe the vegetation, there is really humidity in the place. It's very tropic. You can see a lot of things there. So you also need to describe. Now, if there are some flowers there, are they tiny? Are they exquisite? Are they just ordinary? Are they common? Are they wildflowers? So you
Okay.
need to include that in your description.
So grade 7 learners, are you starting to imagine the place described by Mama Halia? We hope you are. Okay, the second one is the cause and effect. So of course, this structure presents the causal relationship between a specific event, idea, or concept that follow. So of course, if a particular idea or thing has an effect, it has also a cause.
Yes, exactly.
Because there is no smoke if there is
No
no
fire.
That's right. And our example to that is, for example, weather patterns could be described that explain why a big snowstorm occurred. So what is the cause of that big snowstorm in our place? Butanta lang a storm, or let us change this to a more
contextualized,
term or localized.
example.
Let's change this
For
to
example, flooding.
yes, to flood. So weather patterns could be described that it explain why a flood occurred. So the effect is flood. So the cause is also there. So what is the cause of flood? Maybe
The heavy rainfall.
heavy rainfall or the illegal
Or it
logging.
could, yes,
it
it
could be
could also be
the
like
garbages
okay
everywhere.
Yes, that's right, Mamping. And not just that. We also have our, how do you call that system? The drainage
system.
So that is also very important. So
Yes.
if we have very good drainage system, I think less flood in the area will happen.
Yes.
Alright, so
And
you
the
also
next
have
one?
comparison and contrast. So this type of text examines the similarities and differences between two or more people, events, concepts, ideas, etc. So the example given here is just a book about ancient Greece may explain how the Spartan women were different from that of the Athenian women. Alright, so, or if we are not familiar with this, you might think of those women in the 90s or
Yes.
in the 70s and the present women now. Like maybe you might think that as to the mode of dressing, yeah, they're very conservative.
difference.
Yes. They would wear very long skirts, for example, and their body are mostly covered. Compared to the women in this
Dress code
generation.
today.
Yeah, when crop tops are already available and skirts of small sizes are already worn
Yes.
by women. So we're not actually generalizing. But this could be the general look, a picture of women before and the women right now.
Yes.
So although there might also be good things about the women right now and the women before, for example, women long time ago could not actually express their own ideas and opinions about
I
certain
agree,
matters.
Mahalia.
They will just say yes, and they're very submissive. But right now, women can voice out. They're very much empowered.
Yeah,
And
women
they have-
empowerment.
Yes, and they have actual say on relationships, for example. Like what they want, what they... It's not like gone were those days where women would just sit in the corner and
do
wait for a
household
man,
chores.
for example, to... about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were very dependent
Yeah,
on their
so,
partners or
so a
husbands.
paragraph such as that is an example of comparison and contrast. So, but, okay, you might say those are just contrasts, differences. When you talk about comparison, we also highlight the similarities. So what could be the similarity? Well, generally, whether they are women on the 70s or women right now, they are still very caring, very
Yes.
loving to family. These are human innate quality of women. Like they would care for people.
That won't change.
Yes, I think
regardless
regardless of the
time.
generation.
Yes. And of course, we have also the order or sequence. The text structure or this text structure gives reader a chronological of events or a list of steps in a procedure. So you can use this. You can easily identify this text structure when the article is telling you about the chronological events or the maybe the narrative of a particular what do you call that happening from the first
Autobiography, for
scene
example.
yes, autobiography of a person from the day that person was born. Until that this very present, if she is still or he's still alive or
yes, because there are
not.
some autobiography which are actually just like an award that's posthumous. That means even if that person is long gone, it serves like a legacy or a tribute
Yes.
to that person. A tribute, especially if you have done a lot of things on your community.
Yeah.
So you will be remembered. Your name will be immortalized. Okay, next is problem solution. So problem solution, this is a type of structure that sets up a problem or problems, explains the solution, and then discusses the effects of the solution. So, of course, no, we have a lot of problems right now.
Of course.
And they might actually think of possible solutions as well. So in their activity, Mamping,
of course in your activity you have only I think one activity
yeah,
for your activity, two activities rather. So the first one is you have to identify each situation, whether each suggests positive Filipino values in a family or not. Put a check under the column that corresponds to your answer. Third, identifying those situations, whether if you think they
They're
belong to
positive.
positive or negative values, You write a summary about Filipino values using the checklist as your guide.
Okay,
So your
what-
summary
they
will
might
depend
be
on the
asking what are
response.
examples of Filipino values.
Yes.
Like for example, resilience.
Yeah,
That is
being
our
resilient.
trademark. Like no matter the storms may come, we are still smiling.
That's
We are still
right.
hopeful.
Especially
Okay.
now that we are facing
Yes.
this
Okay.
problem.
And of course, that family,
close family ties, of
Yes.
course. One Filipino values. Do you think, is that a positive or a negative values or Filipino values? It's up to you learners because
They might have a hard time distinguishing what are those negative Filipino attributes. Maybe the habit of
Mañana habit.
Yes, mañana habit. Like doing things on a very short notice because you have dilly-dallied for the past few
actually
days.
those the checklist, the statements there are debatable. It depends on you learners if how will you react to those statements, because those statements have negative and positive sides. If is there are advantages and disadvantages.
up to
If
them.
it is practiced wrongly or rightly. Okay.
All right, so it depends on your value judgment. All right, activity number 2, directions is to read each item carefully. Choose the letter of the best answer. So you have there, getting to Camiguin Island from Misamis Occidental is not easy. The fastest way to travel to Camiguin is through bus and ferry. You need to take a bus from Ozamis to Cagayan de Oro City via car ferry. So then from Cagayan, a jeepney or van can take you to Balingawan Airport, so which is 38.5 kilometers from Camiguin. Then you can sail to Binoni Port, so Camiguin through a shuttle ferry. So that is the fastest way to get to Camiguin Island. So which is the best summary of the paragraph? Is it about getting to Camiguin Island is easy? Is it the fastest way to travel to Camiguin is through bus and ferry? Or Camiguin Island is far from Misamis Occidental, therefore getting there takes a long time? Or letter D, the fastest way to travel to Camiguin Island from Misamis Occidental is through a bus and a ferry. So what's
what
the
do you think,
answer?
learners? Actually, the answer is very obvious.
Okay, yes, Ma'am Ping.
Of course, the answer is letter D, because all of the details of the paragraph or the given paragraph are found there. So the answer is the fastest way to travel from Camiguin to Misamis Occidental is through bus and ferry.
So
And
more discussions when we return. This is
Astral Academy Cyber School.
we are back, still here in Astral Academy Cyber School.
Yes, hello to our grade 8 learners, mamahalya. Hello there.
Hi there.
So our competency or skill to develop this afternoon is to recognize positive and negative messages conveyed in a text.
That is correct. So when we talk about the positive and the negative messages conveyed in the text, we are actually talking about connotation.
Yes.
But we need to discuss the difference between connotation and denotation as a form of review. When we talk about connotation, this is something to do with a wide array of positive and negative associations that most words naturally carry within them. For example, you're happy, so basically it carries a positive message or positive association. So there are words which, like for example, horrible. So they carry within them negative associations already. So on the other hand, Ma'am Pei,
on the other hand, the opposite, maybe the other way around, is the denotation. It is the precise, literal definition of a word that might be found in a dictionary. So you have now the clue. Denotation, dictionary.
dictionary meaning. That's correct.
Dictionary meaning.
Okay, so for example, you have here a word serpent. The denotation or literal meaning of the word serpent is that it is a slithering reptile that hisses. Snake on the grass. Alright,
Scary.
but scary snake.
Yeah.
But when we talk about connotation, it is something figurative. So it can represent, for example, death,
Yes.
destruction, evil, a penetrating, legless essence.
Yes, or a poison. That's right. So that is the connotation or the figurative meaning. It depends on how you give meaning to that word. Okay, more of those discussion when we return. This is Astral Academy Cyber School.
This is the way we speak. This is the way we read. This is the way we write. This is the English way. This is the way we speak. This is the way we read. This is the way we write. This is the English way. Come and learn to speak and write of the language of the world. Learn to understand the language of the world. This is the way we speak. This is the way we read. This is the way we write. This is the English way. This is the way we write. This is the English way. Alamin ang teknolohiya sa agrikultura at pangkabuhayan upang umunlad ang ating bayan sagana sa likas na yaman. Halika na mag-ipipina, ipipina, ipipina. Halika na ipipina, ipipina.
And we are back, still here in Astral Academy Cyber School. And to continue our discussion,
Yes.
of course,
about connotation.
yeah, and the notation.
Okay, so when we talk again about connotation, so we have figurative meaning. So these are not the literal meaning of words. Like they are representations of a concept that is bigger.
Yes.
Okay, like for example, you have there the serpent symbolizing or representing death. Not just death, could also represent destruction, evil, a penetrating legless essence, and or poison. So when we talk about poison to represent the serpent, for example, yeah, so it's impossible. Like there are some venomous snakes, right?
But in
Snakes the
other
grass.
culture, they considered serpent as a symbol of blessing, right? In Chinese, I think, mamahalya. Yes, and of course, the conventional source of that, why the serpent is considered as an evil, as a distraction, is because of, in the Genesis, in the Garden of Eden, the snake or the serpent there was considered as the source of evil, why Adam and Eve committed that particular sin. Okay, shall we continue, mamahalya? And we have also the types of connotations. First one is connotation, you have to bear in mind, this is the figurative meaning. Okay, the first, positive. A positive connotation.
This is the way we speak. This is the way we read. This is the way we write. This is the English way. This is the way we speak. This is the way we read. This is the way we
And we are back still here in Astral Academy Cyber School.
Yes, hello Sir RR.
Hi,
Okay.
Ate Pings.
Yes. And just like what we had
Yes.
mentioned earlier, or kaganina, RR, we
Yes.
have two types of, or
Connotation.
types of connotation. What is
yes.
our first one, RR?
Yes,
Sir
we
R?
have the positive connotation, teacher Pings. No, so as it means that a word whose connotation implies positive emotions and association. So, for example, the aroma of my grandmother's cooking produces a positive association because the word of the so-called aroma, and it implies the smell is pleasing and inviting. So, with that, a positive message focus on the type of communication that provides a good news or acceptance, perhaps congratulations.
That's right. So, the word aroma there is being used positively.
Yes, Ate
so, when we
Pings.
smell the aroma of our grandmother's cooking, if we will take it positively, the meaning of that, Sir R, ang meaning, ana, is good news,
Yes.
acceptance, and congratulations. Di ba? Pag makasimot, humot, Sir R,
Yes, definitely.
kahumot. So,
Yes.
that's it. And if we have positive, Sir R, we also have a negative connotation.
Yes.
So what if the word aroma will be given a negative meaning? What will
Yes.
happen?
So again, a word whose connotation implies negative emotions and association. So for instance, if we have exchanged the adjective Ate Pings, no, the aroma in the above sentence, so that is now read as the stench of my grandmother cooking. The meaning changes completely. Though both aroma and stench mean smell, but stench has a negative connotation.
Yes.
Thus, the meal sounds much less appealing.
Yes, because the word aroma, the adjective aroma there is being changed with the word stench,
Stench.
and that stench word there meaning it's an unpleasant
Yes.
odor. So dili siya humot.
Yes.
So mura siya siguro in our vernacular murag langsa siguro
Kana
siya.
siguro, so
Or so then the meaning will be changed into negative
Yes.
one. Diba? In our previous slide, we can see there the word will become maybe less appealing, or
Yes.
it will not so inviting.
yes, Ate
The
Pings.
meaning of that. Okay, so for our activity, learners, Sir RR will read for you the
Yes,
directions.
for the direction, read and understand what is being asked or referred to in the following questions. So again, choose the letter of the best answer.
Okay, so that is our directions.
Yes.
And since they are watching Sir RR, na
Yes,
sila bonus point.
Alright.
Or maybe, I think this is not found under SLM. This is another example rather. So, for example, we have two options. Which has negative connotation? So, negative da ha?
Yes.
So, is that letter A? The towering slender man was looking over a list with a frown. Or, the towering slim man was looking over a list with a frown.
So again, we are talking about the negative connotation.
Negative.
Ate Pings.
Yes. So what do you think, learners? Is the negative word the word slender or the slim?
Yes.
That is found in our next slide, Sir RR.
Yes.
And of course, the answer is Sir R.
The both words are.
Yes.
Yes.
Then in our next slide.
Yes. Both words above mean thin or trim. However, slender has a positive connotation.
Yes.
While skinny has a negative connotation.
Sir R, makaduog ka word nga skinny, unsay mong ma-imagine?
Niwang.
Niwang yun.
Niwang.
Ako gani murag naka-imagine ko kanabitang naglaag-laag nga iro nga skinny.
Oh.
Skinny kaayo. Okay. Okay, another example. This one.
Yes.
Which do you think has a positive or negative connotation rather? Is that mature versus elderly? What do you think? Kanina bitaw kag tiguwang or mature? Tiguwang na kay ka or matured na kay ka? Asa may mas ganahan ka maminaw,
Yes.
sir?
So in the positive, let's say, mo na itong sentence.
Sige, sige.
Ate Pings, my neighbor is a mature woman. So that is in the positive side.
Yes.
No? So in the negative side, my new neighbor is an elderly woman.
Murag sakit man sa tuhod, Sir R.
Murag something na kulang din yung refer siguro
Yes.
as things, no? But again, mature carries the connotation of dignified.
Wow.
While elderly just sounds like old.
Yes, very much. That's right. When you say elderly, murag Guwang na gyud.
Yes.
So, better use the word mature.
So this time, Ate Pink, no? Challenge versus difficult.
Kana.
So,
which is more,
yes.
Heavier.
Yes. How about you, Ate Pink?
Okay, maybe I will prefer the challenge
Yes.
word than the difficult word. How about you?
Yes,
The
I
same?
agree with you.
Yes. And let's take a look of the answer. The positive meaning of that is, yesterday's workout was a challenge.
Yes.
Or yesterday's workout was very difficult.
Yes. So, may mas...
Mas lisod.
So, again, in my case, Ate Pink,
Yes.
I would choose challenge.
Yes. If it's challenge, it's quite in a positive side
Yes,
or meaning. Challenging than difficult thing.
Yes.
Mas kuan siya, mas gaan siya
Mas gaan siya
paminawon.
paminawon. Kung sa difficult, yung murag ka ng...
Lisod yun.
Oo. Murag, wala niyo kay murag mahimo ba? But at the same time, katong challenge kay mong giingon is
Napay chance.
maybe something na apa kay mahimo.
Yes, that's right, Sir R. Okay, for something to be challenged, to be a challenge rather, it's not necessarily bad. You may actually enjoy it, but a difficulty is usually unpleasant.
Yes,
Yes.
Galisod pa ka, dayon damagan pa ka sa kalisod.
Wow, relate kayo sa Sir R. So if the thing is challenging,
Yes.
napakay chance to enjoy
Yes.
the experience because you will learn from that.
Yes.
But in difficulty, it's very rare to say, I enjoyed that difficulty.
Yes.
But
How about
instead, you
this?
will enjoy the challenge.
Yes, absolutely, Ate Pink. So how about this example, Ate Pink? Determined versus stubborn.
Oh my God. Determined ka or stubborn ka?
Yes.
Heg ulo? Okay, so I think you
Yes,
read, Sir R.
The more you work with him, the more you'll find he's a very determined man. So on the other hand, the more you work with him, the more you'll find he's a very stubborn man. So meaning to say, Ate Pink, when it comes to positive connotation, so determined has a kumbaga
Positive meaning. Yes.
has a positive meaning.
Yes. Compared to a stubborn man. So
Yes.
if you are working with a particular person, you will prefer to work with a very determined man
Yes.
kaysa atong kahig ulo.
Of course.
No?
So
Yes.
again, there's not much wrong with being determined. It means you are likely to get things done. To be labeled stubborn, however, is less than appealing.
That's right. Nobody wants to
Yes,
work with a
because-
stubborn
yes,
man.
so-
How about you, sir? Do you like to work with a stubborn lady or girl? Di ba, dili?
Yes.
Okay.
Now again, at Ate Pink's more discussions when we return. This is Astral Academy Cyber School.
This is the way we speak. This is the way we read. This is the way we write. This is the English way.
And we are back still here in Astral Academy Cyber School.
Hello, our junior high school learners. Take note of your second attendance marker for this afternoon. And
It's
watch
on the top of your screen.
Yes, watch out for our last attendance marker before we end our session this afternoon. And for
That's
our
correct.
competency for our grade 9 learners,
That is to identify types and features of short prose.
okay, if you can notice the word type there or types is highlighted
Highlighted.
because the focus of our discussion this afternoon is types only of short prose. And in some other meetings maybe focus na sad ta sa features of a short prose. So, as a
Yes.
sort of review,
Okay, that's correct, Ma'am Ping. So let us review two terms. For example, the first one is prose. Okay, the second one is genre.
yes.
I'd like to begin with genre first because this is the bigger word, I think. Because when you talk about genre, it's the category of artistic composition in music, not just in music, also in literature, characterized by similarities in form, style, and subject matter. Now, when you talk about the genre, there are actually three basic genres in literature. One of that is prose.
Yes.
You have prose, you have
poetry.
and also drama.
Yes.
So under prose, this is a form of language that has no formal metrical structure. So it applies a natural flow of speech and ordinary grammatical structure rather than rhythmic structure such as in the case of traditional poetry. So it's not that creative. It's the language we use in our ordinary day-to-day encounter or conversation with people.
There's no measurement. You are not bounded with rules or measures.
Unlike those works of Shakespeare, for example, wherein you would say, shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
So
Thou art more lovely and more temperate. So that is actually written in iambic pentameter, Sonnet 18.
Of course, since we have the focus of our discussion is prose as one of the literary genres that Mama Halia mentioned a while ago, we have four types of literary prose.
These are the main types.
Yes, the main types of literary prose. The first one is the non-fictional prose. From the word non-fictional, non-fiction means it is based on
real events.
Yes.
Not fiction, not made by the author's imagination. So this is prose that is mainly based on facts like biographies and essays.
Yes.
So there are actually types of non-fiction. You have biographies, you have autobiographies, you have letters, the journals and the diaries, and you also have the essays and articles. Informational texts are also found under the
non-fictional prose because you cannot change or you cannot make any imaginative story.
Yes, that's correct. When we talk
to write
about
this.
Non-fiction.
Yes, and the next one, Mama
is the
Halia,
opposite of non-fiction.
Yes.
This is now a type of prose, so wholly or partly imagined.
Yes.
Why do we say partly imagined? Because there is a classification of fictional prose called as realistic fiction. So meaning all the events could happen in real life. They can happen in real life. But they are not real accounts.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So maybe some stories, some names might appear the same with some other characters or events in real life.
Maybe the places.
Yes, the places, but they are still not based on a real event or real account of people.
Yes,
normal
of
people.
real people. Okay, so in fictional prose, novels are written, examples are novels, these are fairy tales, and other literary works of all time were written in fictional prose. And children or learners like you, maybe not just like learners like you, we as teachers, there are times that we really love to read or to watch fictional stories.
Yes, that's correct, Ma'am Ping.
And there are types of fiction, Mama Halia.
You have sci-fi, so stories that would involve, like for example, Star Wars, for example. So
involves
these
experiments, discoveries in science.
You also have historical fiction, romance fiction.
Yes.
And
the Bildungsroman.
Yes, Bildungsroman.
Or
so,
the education of maybe the challenge being faced by a particular person in terms of education in his younger years. That is Bildungsroman.
All right. So you also have heroic prose. This deals, of course, with heroes, archetypes, specific archetypes like malakas and maganda, for example.
Yes.
So men, of course, they are generally considered as strong. They are pillars. They are a type of people who are actually portrayed in most stories as really very manly, very
The main
knight
character.
in shining armor.
Yeah.
Armor. So these are heroic prose. So
Okay.
this is common in many legends and tall tales, and may be written down and recited out loud. So you have the legend of King Arthur and the Knights of the 12 Knights of the Round Table. So of course, who would not have fall in love with
King Arthur?
With Lancelot,
Yeah.
for example.
Very
Yeah.
courageous, loyal, faithful, and
So these are
maybe all of the adjectives we can use to describe them.
Yes, that's right.
And of course, we have 4, right? We have the fiction, non-fiction, the heroic, and the prose poetry. So prose poetry is written like a prose, but it is in paragraphs rather than verse, but contains the characteristics of poetry such as poetic matter or meter, the language play, and a focus on images rather than narrative, plot, and character. As we all know that prose is written in paragraphs while poetry is written in verbs. So this is a combination.
It's a mix of both worlds. And you also have actually characteristics of prose poetry. Like, for example, those literary devices, poetic devices.
Yes, of course. The figures of speech, like this one, the alliteration, repetition, implied metrical structure or rhythmic structure, the rhyming language, or the metaphor, the apostrophe, and other figures of speech. I know our grade 8 learners are very familiar with this. Okay? So I think we will now proceed to our activity, but before that, we will be returned. This is Astral Academy Cyber School.
This is the way we speak. This is the way we read. This is the way we write. This is the English way. This is the way we speak. This is the way we read. This is the way we write. This is the English way. Come and learn to speak and write of the language of the world. Learn to understand the language of the world. This is the way we speak. This is the way we read. This is the way we write. This is the English way. This is the way we write. This is the English way.
Tayo na. Buksan ang mga radyo, lina at matuto sa mga aral sa mundo. Tayo na. Tumutok na sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine. together, supporting one another. We love, we care, we share. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine. Masaya, tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine. Masaya, tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine. Masaya, tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine. Masaya, tutok na. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine. Masaya, tutok na. Tangkop time.
And we are back still here in Astral Academy Cyber School.
Yes, and we are now on our activity, our grade 9 learners. All you have to do is to identify the type of prose that is being defined in each statement. Write your answer on the space provided. So as a sort of bonus point, we will give you the answer for our first
Number
item,
one. So this refers to a literary work that is based mainly on facts.
Yes.
So the correct answer is non-fiction.
That's right. Non-fiction based on facts.
Not fiction, so meaning real.
And for our next activity, in your SLM, we have two activities. For activity 2, write the letter T if your answer is true, and F if your answer is false to a given statement. Okay. Very easy. This is not modified true or false.
So the first one is non-fictional prose contains realistic facts or opinions experienced by the writer or the author. Is this true or false?
It's very true.
Okay, that's
true
correct.
Is the answer. And now we will move on.
Yes,
to
the
our
grade 10 learners.
Hello, hello.
So your learning competency is actually to formulate claims of fact, claims of policy, and also claims of value. So before going into detail in each of them, so let us learn first what is a claim. So claim is a single statement or the topic of an argument. It is what the writer tries to prove in the text by providing details, explanations, and other types of documents.
Yes.
So there are 3 types, Ma'am Pink. The first one is?
Of course, the claim of fact. Yes. It is a statement about how things were in the past, how they are in the present, or how they will be in the future.
Yes, when we talk about a claim of fact, so a fact claim is not actually a fact.
Yes.
So it just claims to be a fact. So whether or not this statement, you will give a false statement or false claim, it could still be a claim of fact if it is arguable in nature and if that speaker has no direct way of establishing the truth of the claim. Whether it is true or false, you cannot right away tell it. So it is a claim of fact.
Yes, because sometimes we enjoy doing this claiming of we are claiming something which are not true, and we tend to really push our idea that idea is true.
Yes.
But still it's arguable.
This will give us to another type of claim, Ma'am Pink, and that
is the claim of value. So an arguable statement concerning the relative merits of something which is measured subjectively. Subjectively meaning it depends on our
Yes, on the
opinion.
perception. You cannot generalize it. For
Yes.
example,
Person-to-person cases.
yes, Boracay is a better place to go for summer vacation than Bukidnon.
In your own opinion.
Yes, because some people might think that they will pick Bukidnon
Yes.
instead of Boracay. What makes this value claim arguable is that different people may disagree on criteria used to evaluate something.
Yeah.
It might be the weather,
Yeah, it might be the white sand beaches
okay,
or
the
beach,
live entertainment,
Yeah.
or the water sports present in
or the
place.
number of foreigners visiting
Yes, exactly.
there.
So it depends upon the person. You can rally this idea.
Yes.
So it's not.
Because
It's not
Bukidnon
true
has
to all.
something to offer also.
Yes, exactly. You
Yeah.
go to Dailayan, for example.
Of course, the mountain ranges, the animals there like horses and others.
Okay. And
Okay.
our third type of claim is the claim of policy. It is a statement regarding the merits of a course of action. What makes it arguable is that even though people may not be totally certain about proper course of action to take, they still must act.
Yeah,
So to agree in defense of a policy claim is to state that given what we have now, it's best to act in the manner proposed.
okay, so meaning you have no choice in this type of claim because there are policy being what do you call this cited. And you should follow that whether you like it or not. So there are characteristics of good claims. How can we tell that that particular claim is good? If it bears or they bear the following characteristic. First, a claim should be argumentative and debatable.
That's correct. And the second one, a claim should be specific and focused.
Yes.
So not very broad.
That's right. And the third one, a claim should be interesting and engaging.
And lastly, a claim should be logical.
Yeah.
That means to say, even if it's not, example, for a claim of fact, even if it's not true, it must be presented in a manner that some people might get confused as well. It's logical still.
Correct thinking. Okay, we
All
have,
right.
is this an example?
Examples,
Okay,
yes.
so let's have the first example for claim of policy. Oh, I already
Yes.
tell the answer. Okay, death penalty should be abolished in all countries around the world.
Yes, that is a claim of policy,
Yeah.
sorry, because of the word should be.
Yes.
And you also have a policy.
Yeah,
or,
policy.
yes, something.
Maybe in our country there are many what do you call this the one who are making
Politicians, legislators,
legislators who are not in favor of this what we call
Yes,
death
because they
penalty.
would think that it is actually a violation of human rights.
Yes.
The right to life.
Yes,
regardless of whoever and whatever you are in the community. Number 2, Mac computers are more reliable than PCs. So the keyword also, if in the claim of policy, the keyword is should be, and the claim of value, it is more.
Yeah, more
So
than.
there are two things being compared,
Yes.
and the other one is said to be better. So that is claim of value.
Yes, because some people would prefer Mac computers rather than
Yes, exactly,
PCs. Some
PCs.
also prefer PCs rather
because
than
they're
Mac
economical.
computers. Yes, of course. It depends on the financial stability or capacity. Okay, the third one is the claim of fact. Example, the earth is flat.
Okay.
Okay.
You might be asking, this is not true. Why is it called as a claim of fact? Because years ago,
Yes.
there was a time that the earth was said to be flat.
Yeah, that is why
It
the
was true
map,
before.
the world map is
Yes.
being presented to people, representing that the world is flat.
Flat.
There are ends, both
Yes.
ends, in both
And
sides.
of course, we learned that the earth is not flat, that it's spherical. So we
Yes.
have the globe as a representation of it.
Yes, and of course, to identify the type of claim, it's better to apply. What is this, Mama Halia?
Okay,
Another
so
example.
this time, let us identify what type of claim are these. So let's have the first one.
It's better to apply good nutritional choices at home than teach them at school because good nutrition then becomes ingrained in the child's experience.
So is it a claim of fact? Is it a claim of value?
Policy.
Or is it a claim of policy?
Yes.
You have there words like better, and you also have words than, the word than.
So what do you think?
This is certainly a claim of
Value. Yes, because you are comparing which is more
Yes.
effective.
Exactly.
Doing that at home or in school.
And you also have the next one, decreasing carbon dioxide emissions from car exhaust, manufacturing processes, fertilizers, and landfills, while slowing deforestation may help slow the process of global warming.
Yes.
So is this a claim of fact, or is it a claim of policy?
So what do you think, learners?
Okay, the correct answer, this is actually a claim of fact.
Yes, it's based from what is really happening.
Okay,
The
and
third
of course,
example,
the last one, I think.
yes, the city's Board of Education should institute an honors program not only for high school students, but for elementary and junior high school students as well.
All right.
Okay, what do you think? Is
Okay.
that a claim of fact or a claim of policy?
This is a claim of policy, certainly.
Yes.
Okay. So their directions on their SLM, your activity is just to formulate claims of fact, policy, and value on the issue of social media and
Bullying. It's a
So
timely issue.
you were given some possible answers for the claim of fact. You have there, sometimes people use Facebook, Twitter, and other social media to bully one another.
That's true.
Okay.
Okay. For the claim of value, it is wrong to use social media to bully people.
And for the claim of policy, there should be criminal charges brought against people who use social media to bully others. Although there is really, we have cyber defamation,
Yeah.
and we are protected by law against that.
That's right. And we're
Okay.
done, Mamahalia.
Yes,
Congratulations.
exactly. So thank you so much to all our dear learners
Yes.
for being with us. We would like to let you copy, the third and last attendance marker for today.
That's right.
Yes, it's on top of your screen.
And thank you so much to our executive producer, our schools division superintendent, Sir Gus Sepe, with our production team, the man behind the lens of the camera, and of course to our learners, Mamahalia, to our parents, and to our colleagues in the service. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. We would
Yes.
like to see them again next
Of
time.
course.
So this has been Mama Halia from Santa Maria National High School.
And I am your Ma'am Pinky of Sumirap National High School, and this is
Astral Academy Cyber School. Goodbye. Thank you.